And we're back. Just like the Five Musketeers.
Three Musketeers, isn't it? Well, nobody knows how many there were, really, do they?
You know that the Three Musketeers is a fiction, right? Written by Alexander Dumas.
A lot of people are saying that about the Bible these days.
What, that it was written by Alexander Dumas?
Don't be daft, Steve. It was written by Jesus.
Are we there, yeah?
Let's do this!
Copious amounts of drinking being done in this movie.
Yeah.
But I always wonder with these types of movies, what are you guys actually drinking when you're downing these beers?
Well, we had to charge our props department with creating a very drinkable alcoholic substitute, which wasn't like, alcohol-free lager or beer or whatever, because that essentially is very heavy and also contains a tiny bit of alcohol. And it couldn't be like apple juice because that's so sugary we'd end up like bouncing off the walls. So we had them make us, it was basically water with a little burnt sugar for color and then cream soda whisked on top for the head. And that meant that we could drink what was essentially water pretty much 12 hours a day for 3 months.
There was a guy on set and his only job was he had a jug of foam and like a cappuccino aerator. And he'd just stand there. And then when we'd get closer, we ready? Ready to go? Yeah.
Look for him on the credits.
That was
Aerator.
Aerator.
But I mean, even though you're not drinking beer, you're consuming a silly amount of liquid.
Yeah.
You're not going to the bathroom every
We were
take?
catheters.
We had catheters. So under the table, we had no trousers on, and there were just tubes going into a central bucket.
And then it was
makes
like,
sense.
at the end of each day, anyone who hadn't really pulled their weight had to drink it.
To put it down the sluice.
Go!
Come on. What do you recommend?
Beer.
We'll have 5 of those, please. 4 of those and a tap water.
What?
Now, while the movie is about drinking and about friendship, it's also about completing a task that has been left undone. And I want to know, for you guys in your careers, there's something that has been left undone that you wish you could finally complete now.
I think we did it. I think we did it with this. You know, we never made a third series of Spaced, and I think they always stuck with us slightly. And so when we had the chance to complete the third film in the Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and this thing, we weren't sad at all. I think a lot of people said, "Oh, are you sad? It's finished now." And I think we were really happy that we finished something. You know.
I think that's it. I think the not doing a third season of Spaced is probably something I look back on and I think, I wish we'd had the chance to do that. You know, and it wasn't because we weren't allowed, it was timing, and so it will always be a slight regret, but this makes up for it.
You guys talk about in the movie having one of those nights.
Mm-hmm.
We've all had one of those nights.
Yeah.
So if we were to organize a pub crawl with some of your characters in the past to have one of those nights, who would we be bringing along?
That's a cracking question.
I think for me it would be Ed from Shaun of the Dead, because he'd have all the pills and potions for when you started to flag.
I definitely wouldn't bring Nicholas Angel along. I'd tell him to go somewhere else because he'd spoil everyone's fun.
Oh, it'd be Gary. Imagine Gary and Ed and us out on the piss.
Oh my God, that would be insane.
It would be insane.
What about Scotty? What would he be like?
Scotty's can put it away. Yeah. He'll bring the Romulan ale. Do you know what I mean? He'd be quite fun. Good in a fight.
It's touched on so much in the movie that drinking is so much harder when you leave your teens or your 20s. Why is drinking so hard? I just turned 30. Why is drinking so much harder in your 30s or your 40s?
Because your body's decaying gradually.
It's all downhill from here.
Your cells are dying, and it becomes harder and harder to withstand intoxication. Essentially, you're poisoning your system when you what drinking is poisoning yourself in order to make your brain malfunction, which gives you a sense of
so good
happiness.
I never want to drink again now.
Also, I think there's
it's true. That's what it is.
Physical aspect, but I think there's also an aspect of responsibility where you then perhaps have a partner and a
small
child
when you need to go home.
Absolutely, yeah.
You might have to drive to the hospital at any time.
I think it's weird for your kid to be lying in bed and having a really drunk dad like leaning over and saying, "You're my best boy."
That's like when sometimes you come home at night and I've gone to bed early and you come in and like,
I rip the covers off. Look at me.
We're just 5 friends on a night out, having a good time.
The world's end.
What the hell is that? We are going to get to the world's end if it kills us.
Oh no.